Thanks very much indeed, Cathaoirleach, and thank you, Minister, for being here this morning. And I suppose as we face, the negotiations that are underway regarding CAP reform at the moment, and I know it was initiated back in 2018 at a European level, and that Ireland have to have their submission in for January 2020. And while there are many issues, and I've met with many young farmers in my own neck of the woods and spoken to many people across different sectors, and certainly I suppose the two main issues are that the farmers basically are opposed to any cuts, and also convergence and redistribution, and especially around active farmers. And I know I had engagement with yourself there recently in relation to it, Minister. But certainly, there are so many proposals that are coming forward, and there's such a fear factor as well within the farming community that if there are to be any cuts, that it's going to have, a significant effect on the farming community in Ireland. And it's such a difficult business at the moment. And, we want to encourage many young farmers as well to take over family farms. And while so many people are actually, we'll say, maybe part-time farming and have a part-time job, and some of them are actually in full-time employment. But two things, I suppose, that have been raised with me that are really, really important is, number one, I suppose, mental health and well-being around farmers, because, the more that they're hearing of cutbacks, and there is a lot of talk out there about it, it certainly does put a lot of pressure, I suppose, on people's mental health and well-being. And many of them have, young families, and they're looking at how can they keep their farm going, and it is putting a lot of pressure. So I'd like to see mental health and well-being being incorporated into the plans and the formation of the CAP formation that you'll be submitting, but also around farm safety. And I know Farm Safety Week is in July, so I suppose it's an opportune time now to raise it as an issue that I believe is of importance to young farmers, certainly, and to more established farmers, because I know that of all the many industries in Ireland, we'll say that there has been a huge amount of farm safety accidents, and a lot of them have ended up obviously in tragedy, which is really, really sad. I know that in 2019, I think there was 19 of them, and up to midway last year, there was 14 accidents already, and many of them had ended up in tragic circumstances. And so, Minister, I really believe that now is an opportune time, when CAP has been looked at, that we give assurance to farmers, because I believe they are, the lifeblood of our culture here in Ireland. And I mean, there's so many agri-food businesses as well that have established from farms. So I look forward to hearing your response. Thanks very much indeed, Minister.
Cathaoirleach, and I'd like to start off by thanking Senator Byrne for raising this really important matter here in the Seanad today, and to congratulate you on your recent re-election here to Seanad Éireann. It's great to see you back on the agricultural panel, and one of the first topics and matters you're raising here on your return to be such an important area of agriculture, and I thank you for that. And you're right in terms of the importance of the issue of not just farm safety, but also farmer mental health and well-being. And I'm particularly conscious in these COVID times. I know it's hard on all of us, and everybody has suffered, isolation. But I think in COVID, if you think of farmers, particularly those older farmers who live on their own, the isolation has been even more impactful on them, because their main sources of socialisation outside of work generally was going to the mart, which was closed with COVID, going to the pub, which was closed with COVID, going to a sports match, GA or soccer down the local village was out, and then even master service at the weekends. All of these things were taken away from them. And in agriculture, where farmers spend a lot of time on their own, worrying about the weather, worrying about the prices, worrying about all those pressures, there wasn't that release valve there. So there is a number of initiatives we are taking, and that I'm taking, to try and improve that, working with our colleague Minister Frank Feehan in the Department of Health with the On Firm Ground initiative, which is to train advisors to help signpost supports to farmers. But I'll go into them in a while. But you're dead right to talk as well about the impact of farm safety in terms of overall numbers. Agriculture accounts for 6% of the workforce totally in the country, yet 50% of the fatalities. And we had a late notification in February of this year for a death that happened last year, so now our numbers for last year officially are at 20. And of those 20 who lost their lives last year, 9 were farmers over the age of 65 and 3 were children under the age of 8. And these figures are unacceptably high, and that's why our government is determined to address this issue. We have a very ambitious targets set out in the programme for government, and I'm the first Minister of State to be given dedicated responsibility for the area of farm safety. Farm safety is not an issue for the CAP negotiation process in and of itself, as the Council's agreed general approach to CAP reform does not reference farm safety. This does not mean that we cannot address farm safety in the context of the next CAP, though, because the proposed CAP does give Member States much more subsidiarity to design interventions based on our own particular needs through our CAP strategic plans, and those CAP strategic plans have been worked on at the minute. So in the context of this flexibility, the CAP strategic plan and in the context of the programme for government, which identified the need to invest in enhanced farm safety and wellbeing measures under the next CAP, my department is incorporating farm safety into the CAP strategic plan for 2023 to 2027, which is currently under development. Development of the plan involves a number of stages, including a SWOT analysis, needs analysis, intervention design, financial allocations, target setting and governance systems. The draft CAP strategic plan will be subject to an ex-ante evaluation, strategic environmental assessment, appropriate assessment, and importantly including public consultation on the draft and the draft environmental report this summer, and that will be an opportunity for everybody to have their say. I have, with my officials, continued to engage extensively with stakeholders on the future of CAP, and that has been a process that has been ongoing. Further public consultations and the development of the CAP strategic plan are being considered and will happen, and I look forward to that engagement with stakeholders as we develop the plan, which, as you said, has to be submitted to the Commission by 1st of January 2023. The SWOT analysis and needs assessment process has identified health and safety on farms as an area that requires attention under the CAP because of our unacceptably high level of farm fatalities. And my view is that all measures in the CAP strategic plan should have a health and safety element incorporated as appropriate, and I am working with my officials to develop measures in the next CAP that will reflect that. And you can expect to see health and safety requirements feature strongly in our training programmes for farmers and advisors, as well as through the various measures from on-farm investments to livestock schemes and the rest. And I can expand on that further in my supplementary answer.
Seanad Éireann, you have 1 minute.
Thanks very much indeed, Cathaoirleach. Thanks, Cathaoirleach, and thank you very much indeed, Minister. And some good to hear that farm safety has been taken very seriously and is included in the CAP. And also I'm delighted to hear your own acknowledgement and that you're working with Minister Fee in relation to the whole issue of mental health, and because certainly I do believe that stress has, the fact of stress has actually put an awful lot of I suppose, mental health issues, on farmers, and I'm glad that you acknowledge that, because I suppose the fall in incomes and like every industry, I suppose higher costs as well and increased regulations, it does put stress. But the fact that you're engaging and working with them, I welcome that. And thank you very much for your commitment, and I look forward to hearing from you in the future in relation to your plans as they unfold. Thank you very much.
Minister.
Senator Byrne, you're dead right, and I'm delighted to hear you here equate farm safety and well-being and mental health altogether, because they are completely interconnected. There's no doubt about that. And our agri-food strategy that for 2030 that is presently out to public consultation really reflects that. We talk about a food systems approach to agriculture in the future and about sustainability of all the systems. So not just environmental sustainability, which is obviously crucially important, but obviously economic sustainability and societal sustainability. Sustainability for our farmers to be able to continue to do what they're doing, make an economic return for that, raise a family on it like generations before did, but also to be able to do that without that extra pressure. There's other measures that I'm taking in the department as well. I secured €1 million in the last budget for the EIP on farm safety, and those initiatives are being worked through at the minute at phase 2. The accelerated capital allowance approved by our colleague Minister Pascal Donoghue in the finance bill have also helped. So there's a number of measures there, but I am determined, in response to your commencement matter here today, I'm determined to see farm safety prominently feature in all aspects of CAP where at all possible, and any engagement we have from my department and arms of the state with farmers to continue to drive home that message, that we change the culture and that we significantly reduce the amount of farm fatalities and serious incidents on our Irish farms. Thanks.